Okay, live. Hello and welcome to this session of Virtual Germany, the Virtual Germany community session about the overview of the German XR landscape. And yes, hello. So we are a group of organizers of XR meetups in Germany. And yeah, today we have the following presenters. Let's go in order from the pictures. My name is Robin Fischer. I'm a member of the Frankfurt community, and as well as Martin Streit, who is also from the Frankfurt community, and Rolf Kruse from the Thüringen community, and Farina Hamann from from Hamburg, sorry, and Alexander Grobe from Berlin, and Manuel also from Frankfurt, actually. A lot of Frankfurts here. So first of all, we would like to give you a bit of an overview of our sort of organization, like the idea, the structure, and who we are. And this talk will be given by Rolf Kruse. So, yep, let's just remove the rest out of the, oops, remove all the people out of the stream.
Okay, Robin, I can't hear you anymore, but I think I'm live now. I have the honor to present you a short overview of the German VR Meetup initiative called Virtual Germany. Originally, we had the idea to join together all those local meetups for years, since the beginning of those meetups in the regions and cities. Finally, we started August 2019, so it was before Corona. We started to think of how can we get together? What is the idea? What is the format? And then the first thing was, what's the idea and how do we work together? So we created some kind of a mission statement. Robin, can you please show the next slide? Yeah, so it's a translation, so probably it looks better in German in the original language, but it's about the German-speaking XR communities. And we want to organize projects and events. We use a Discord server, so to come together to coordinate things. And every XR community founder, organizer, whatever, enthusiast is welcome to this community. So it's a very open community, and we're growing, and hopefully there are coming more and more of people into that community. An important thing is that the individual communities don't give up any of their competencies or things like that. We don't over-organize things. We're not a formal association at the moment, and I think we don't need it, actually. So it's really a loose contact organization, but really the exchange is very, very helpful. And so with this mission statement, we started, and we wanted to plan a virtual event, and then came Corona, which speeded up things. So we had a look. So we at the Discord server. There's the next slide shows the Discord server and the URL for the Discord server. Maybe someone can write it into the chat so that somebody can copy it. So you're happily welcome on this server if you want to help organize events, nationwide events in Germany. And after setting up the Discord server, I think it was August 2019, we made a tour on different platforms of online XR social VR things, and this was really a fun thing. So we explored really many of those platforms together, and made a kind of analysis on them and discussed what is important to us, what is needed. Next slide, Robin. And so this is just a short summary. So we had NEOS VR, we were on Engage, we Altspace, we evaluated everything and made a table, not a really scientific one or a really detailed one from practical aspects. And we finally decided to make our launch in Engage. We found it has the best handling for the needs we had at this time. So in April 2020, we had our launch event. Next slide. It was on Engage, and it was really a fun experience. We had a talk by Ryan Schulz, and we had a really nice presentation of the guys from Engage. Really showed up many things like flying on a whale through the universe. And so I think it was 3.5 hours, people getting around. We had many locations. It was one on Earth, one on Moon, one on Mars. I think the final gathering was on Moon, everybody in the Moon suit. So really a fun thing, really intense experience on that. So this gave us the thrill to continue because we didn't know how many people would come. I think at the end it was around 200 people joining that event. The next event, since we want to explore together with other people different platforms, we selected Altspace as our platform. Which does mean we always have to get into that platform, how it does work, how to moderate things, how do people join, and all these things, how to do live streams, how to scope with the limited spaces. So we had the next event, and there's another slide to that event. Thank you. We had a really nice keynote from Mark Schramm, the developer of Superhot. Because it was the Gamescom edition, the topic was VR games or XR games. Then we had a panel on game development from different developers. Also really interesting how diverse activities can be and ways to publish games on XR and the perspectives in the future. And sure, virtual Germany is important that the networking part, talk to each other in that virtual space, get to know each other, and plan new things. And so now we are planning the next event, or it's almost planned, and the date is final. So it's December the 1st. At 8 p.m. CET, so German time. This time we're giving Mozilla Hubs a try. We'll see how this will work out. And there's a webpage, virtual-germany.digital. There's the link to the Discord server, so this probably is the easiest one to get to us. And I think we still have options for sessions. So if you have an interesting topic, on virtual reality, augmented reality, all those stuff, and want to share this in a half-hour session on this occasion, you're happily invited to present this at the session. Just join the Discord server and propose something, a topic on that. So yeah, would be happy to see you at the next Virtual Germany event. And I will now hand back to Robin, who will announce the next speaker. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Rolf. And the next talk will be about the German communities in various locations throughout Germany. And that talk will be held by Farina Hamann. So the stage is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a quick overview over all the XR communities in Germany, because actually in Germany there's happening a lot of things regarding XR. So we have some communities in the cities, and I will give you a quick overview. Robin, can you show the next slide? Thank you. So in case you haven't tried VR yet, or you don't have a headset on your own, it's probably the best start to go into the virtual worlds by visiting an XR arcade in Germany. Over the last, I would say, maybe 2 years, there are some arcades popping up all over Germany, and you can see it. Most of them are in the bigger cities, but also in some smaller cities. So yeah, they're from north to south everywhere. Yeah, you could check if there's an XR arcade close to you. They are closed in November, of course, but hopefully they will open soon again. Yeah. And if you want to dive deeper into XR, there's also a possibility to go to an XR meetup in Germany. Actually, most of them are in the cities where also an XR arcade is located. I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, maybe not. So on meetup.com, you can find all of these XR meetups in Germany, and it's also a great chance to meet people and to find new contacts and new people to connect with and to talk about XR. It's always very motivating. Thank you. And also there are some XR associations and NGOs in Germany who are organizing bigger events, for example, or bigger networking events and trade fairs and festivals and so on. So they are quite evenly spread. So in the north, there's nextReality.Hamburg, which I'm going to talk about later in this session, and the German chapter of the VR Association. Then in Berlin, there's the Virtual Reality Berlin-Brandenburg e.V., and in Potsdam, close to that, the VR Business Club. In Düsseldorf, we have the German Institute for Virtual Reality called DIVR, and in Cologne, the first association of virtual reality. And then close to Stuttgart and Fellbach, there's the Virtual Dimension Center called VDC, and in Munich, totally in the south, we have the Extended Reality Bavaria. And actually, where these associations are, they are also the biggest XR festivals in Germany. So, for example, close to Düsseldorf, we have the first VR festival ever, which is called Places. And I think it was the only one that was happening in the real world this year in summer with a lot of health issues, but it worked very, very well. They had a lot of rules and people would stick to that. So this was really well organized. Then we have in Hamburg the VR Ham or RAM. It's an art festival, mostly about art projects, 360-degree movies, but also interactive works. And this was happening online this year. In Berlin, there's the VR Now. It's a conference and also summit. They also have a trade fair sometimes, so it's definitely worth to check it out. And in Stuttgart, organized by the VDC, there's the XR Expo, which is more orientated to the B2B market. And finally, in Munich, there's the Augmented World Expo happening each year. So I think that was the overview about the organizations. And if you are interested into events and festivals and everything, in Germany and also some of them international, you can check out the online calendar for XR events, which is called meetxr.de. There are all festivals and meetups and everything. Most of them are happening online right now. We're going to talk later about that. And there are also hackathons and exhibitions. That's about the overview. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Farina. And then the next talk will go into more detail about the local groups in Berlin. And this talk will be held by Alexander Grobe. And just introduce it yourself, basically. Sorry, Alex, we can't hear you. It says your mic is muted.
Oh, yeah, I'm muted. Sorry. Hello again from
Okay, yeah, now it
Berlin
works.
capital. Yeah, so I have the pleasure to present to you the local XR scene in Berlin. So please go to the first to my slide. So first of all, there's not just VR Berlin, which you just see, but there are several smaller meetups. But to give you an overview, so we have so actually a lot of education regarding XR is happening. So we actually are hosted at different universities usually, where actually designers and 3D artists are getting their education. So regarding, let's say, VR Berlin consists of a let's say an over XR, I would say, and then there are or anything like that. And we are one of the, actually, I think the oldest meetup, founded already in June 2013. Right now, 500 members, and actually it's a
Sorry,
people.
Alex.
Yeah.
I have to interrupt you. There's
what's
a
wrong?
pretty bad audio problem, like some interference or something. I'm not sure if you could adjust your microphone because it's hard to understand. Or I'm not sure what it is. It's like sometimes it's interrupting the audio.
Okay. Was not aware of that. Is that better now?
Now it works. Maybe.
Okay, I have to continue talking, otherwise you don't know. So I'll just try to continue and speak a little. So yeah. Afford to organize that right now only online. And yeah, we have quite a history with 50 events, and basically we cover everything. You see a lot of topics from regarding application from games to healthcare and tourism. We have also quite some here like realities that do the photogrammetry stuff, or like into VR, which are big into yeah, storytelling and journalism. We have which also has here we have Illusion Walk, which is an arcade provider, other things, and we are welcome community as well. It's not that far away, and okay, it's still getting not good to sound. Oh, if I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess you muted yourself again, but
I was not where. I just disconnected and reconnected my headset. Is it better now?
It
Is it
works
better?
again a bit. It comes and goes. Just try to
makes no sense if the
audio
audio is so bad. Then skip the talk if that is not good.
Yeah. Any last words or like? I think it now it works, but it's I don't know, comes and goes.
So basically, we have a lot of things to discuss here, and also very okay. It makes no sense. Just skip to the next talk. I give up. Makes no sense. It's
very
sad,
unfortunate. All right. Thanks, anyways, for this overview. And yeah, people can look up everything on your meetup page. And yeah, you share the website. So yeah, that's the Berlin community. All right, the next talk will be about groups in Frankfurt, and this will be held by Martin Streit, and yes, basically also a meetup group in Frankfurt.
Yeah, cool. So just skip to the next slide. And so the meetup group in Frankfurt, also VR Frankfurt, is organized by Fabian and Mickey and has about 1,800 members. Of course, people are also members of different meetup groups, so you never know exactly. The cool space is that Mickey is part of the Institute for New Media, so he can offer a space for the meetup. So if we are not meeting at either university for super large events that also run through a day, like a conference, or also at some of the companies in the Rhine-Main region or research institutes, or also here a big mocap studio you can see on the right. They had an experience that was done on a DK2, so it's a bit older. So we meet also there. So that's all over the Rhine-Main region. And it's all about talks, doing demos and testing things. And there's also a bit of history. So the Institute has been established for a number of years. So actually they've been also part of the first VR wave that has happened in the 80s and 90s. So that's kind of interesting to see also this range of people, and there's a couple of universities in the region that have that as a focus. So they collaborate and go there, and it's always great fun to test the newest prototypes and also meet other people from also VR startups. And with that, I would hand over to Farina again and the Hamburg group.
All right, yeah, short and to the point, right? So yeah, that's Frankfurt VR community, and let's get back to Farina for the Hamburg community, which is also organized through a association called the Next Reality, which she will introduce now. So
yes, thank you, and yeah, hi again. So I'm actually not only from Hamburg, but also from Bremen. Somehow I'm organizing two XR communities, or co-organizing one in Bremen. You can show the next slide. One in Bremen called Immersive, based on the German word immersive, which means immersive. And also I'm part of the association nextReality.Hamburg, which I'm going to talk about now. So next slide, please. Yes. So this is us, or this is, we are the organizers of nextReality.Hamburg. And now I want to talk about what we do actually. So what does an XR association do? That's the question. Okay, so first of all, our main part is networking. So we try to connect different people and different parties, who are all interested into XR. So on one hand, we have startups, we have agencies, we have universities, other associations we are in contact with. We are in contact with some corporations and companies who are at the same time also possible customers for the agencies. So we try to connect people, which is also visible on the next slide. So we are connecting the XR world on one hand, which consists of startups, agencies, and companies who are working with XR and developing experiences. And on the other hand, there's the real world and the potential users who could use XR for their B2B applications, for example. And then we also connect talents like students and interested parties who are interested into VR and want to develop XR by themselves and want to start by going into the virtual worlds. And we connect them with XR professionals as mentors. So we are also giving XR workshops in universities, for example, and showing people how XR works. So networking is the first part, so you can click next. This is like really important for us. We have events and meeting events with our members. We have a Slack channel, for example, where we can connect and post some jobs and everything that is interesting. And the second part are events, which are also really, really important. So we organize different events like meetups. We have also, actually, we have 3 meetups groups. So we have on one hand the nextReality.Hamburg meetup, where we meet different people from different companies, and we have a specific topic every time. So for example, our last meetup was about data science and data visualization in XR. Then we have the AR talks, which are about augmented reality mainly. And then we have a regular stable happening once a month. This is also organized through Meetup. But we also have some other events like hackathons, for example. And not only our own events, but also we support some third-party events from others, like we are trying to get some special deals for trade fairs, for example, for our members. Next one. And then we also produce some content like the XR podcast, for example, which is coming out once in a while whenever we have an interesting guest. And also we had some guests who are also speaking at this XR bootcamp, like Pola, for example. And this is really interesting, and it's a really deep dive into one specific topic. Next one. And then last but not least, we also organize the Next Reality contest every year since 2017, where people from Germany, from Austria and Switzerland can submit their AR projects and VR projects and 360-degree movies. So we have different categories for our award, like entertainment is a big part, so gaming experiences. Then we have a part for business, like B2B experiences. One part is mainly about storytelling. It's called 360 Movie, but we also have a special category for young talents, like students and people who just finished studying or started developing their own XR projects. And then there's also the Community Award. So this year is the 4th time we are doing this award, and you can really see over time how not only the amount of entries increased. This year we have gotten over 100 entries, but also the quality increased by a lot. So they're really, really great and awesome project, and it was not easy for our jury to decide who's going to win. And this is also top secret because we are having the nominees now, but the award show didn't happen yet due to the virus. So this will be in December, and I will show it later. So, okay, that's about the Next Reality contest. This year, it was hard to do events because normally it's really important for us to meet in person and to talk in person. But this year, it's not possible, of course. So we decided really spontaneously in the end of March that we are going to try to go to the VR world with our regular stable, which was in April. And we decided to use AltSpace VR because it's easy to use and there are a lot of devices supported. And so we just tried it, and we were pretty amazed how well it works to talk with people and to connect. And of course, we have it's really nice as an XR associations because most of our members and most of people who are interested in going to our net events and networking meetups are already having some XR gear at home, like VR glasses, for example, but it's also available in 2D mode. So this was a really good opportunity to continue doing our work even in this special time. Next slide. So I wrap up with upcoming events. In December, for example, we have the next meetup. It's about journalism. We are having it together with the Hamburg Media School. And on December 10th, 1 week later, roughly 1 week, there's the award show and the after show party from our Next Reality contest, which will be I'm really thrilled who's going to win. And yeah, this is also happening in AllSpace VR. The award show will be in a live stream, but we're having the after show party in AllSpace VR. And next year, we are then continuing with our XR developer regulars table, which is happening on every second Thursday a month. All right. So if you are close to Hamburg or just interested into our events, just check out our channels. For example, the podcast you can hear on Spotify and so on. Our Slack is now open to everyone. Yeah, so if you are interested, reach out to us, and that's it. Thank you.
All right, yeah. Thank you very much, Farina, for the second talk and for the second time. And the next talk will be another second talk by Rolf Kruse about immersive learning. And yes, so that's like from your experience as a teacher, basically. Maybe you introduce the talk a bit.
Yeah, thank you, Robin, and thank you, Farina, also for supporting so many activities in this field. You have to remember all those people are doing this more or less as a hobby. We're meeting always in the evening hours, and so yeah, I'm very happy that all these initiatives continue to go on so well and increase in participants. The title Immersive Learning, it's more about groups in immersive learning, which is kind of more specific thing of XR groups. So the further mentioned were general XR groups, VR, AR groups, interested groups. And immersive learning is something I'm working at. I'm a teacher, I'm a professor at a university of applied science. And so learning is our main task, and the technology we can use might be XR. And so immersive learning might be an important possibility on that. So just a short introduction. Why should we use immersive learning? Robin, next slide, please. Yeah, it's many things that are positive effects, but yeah, it's a 3D environment. You can visualize and work on complex spatial issues, animated multimedia things, and really it's a thing you can really explore learning content. The immersion is important for sure. This is one of the most important things that you are into a learning world. And the important aspect is you're not distracted by anything else. You're really in that. And now more and more multi-user applications come. Platforms like AllSpace or Engage and the other ones that are mentioned can be used to share common environments, virtual environments, to learn together from each other, which is an important thing. And you can learn in an interactive and repeat way. It's risk-free. If there's some danger with like this printing machine from the project Social Virtual Learning experience, so such machines are not available at every moment and maybe dangerous to operate on. And so you can really do it on your own pace, learn on your own pace in the for the type of learning you are used to. Not everybody is learning the same way. So these are the advantages of immersive learning. We're doing that, next slide. We're doing this at our faculty for example, to understand heating technology, use VR experience to have really interactive experience there where you have to increase the temperature of the heating body and see at the same time what happens to the heat. Something that you can't do in reality. there are infrared cameras, but we can simulate them, and we can easily change the temperature and all those things. And we visualize also the temperature fields and the convection and all that stuff. So this is one example. We're using immersive technologies to get people to know some complicated topics. Next slide, please. Talking about networks, there's a working group in the German Informatics Society. It's a network of groups and people in this field. It's currently around 180 members from academia and business, and we're exchanging ideas, projects, cooperations, and there's a portal, there's a website which gives an overview about those people, what are working on. We have project presentations. There's a newsletter. We're doing conferences, webinars, hands-on workshops, so many things on that group. And it's also in increasing numbers of members there. Currently these days, next slide, please. Not directly this group, but people that are also organizing this group are doing a conference on VR and vocational training. And this is run from beginning of November to beginning of December, 2 or 3 times per week in Altspace. There are 100 participants, and there are presentations, networking, exchange, and we're doing some field trips to other platforms like Engage, TriCAT, or hubs to learn about the differences of the platforms and what is needed, what is helpful with this. Next slide. And a more business-oriented, more commercial part is the Institute of Immersive Learning, run by Thorsten Fell. Amazing, he's really a guy who's really doing a lot of activities all around the topic of immersive learning. So if you're interested from more business side, it might be interesting to have a look at a webpage of Immersive Learning News, and maybe be part of the roundtable and the webinars and the workshops of this institution. I'm not sure. I think this is the end of my talk. Thank you for your attention, and now we have a final talk.
Yes, thank you very much, Rolf. Very interesting projects, actually, and yeah, nice to see like all the things going on in education. So the next talk will be held by Manuel Fischer. It's his like study project basically, and yes, maybe you can just introduce it yourself.
Yes. Should I share my screen or you?
Yes, please go ahead. Share your screen and I will put you live.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
Let's start with the first slide. Okay. Hello, I'm Manuel Fischer, and this is my bachelor project where we developed a really exciting VR game, like software, where you can explore your eye. And first, I want to show you a little video about it. All right, this was a lot to take in, but yep. I'm gonna continue. Okay. Thank you. And now I'm gonna talk about the team size. As I said, it was a bachelor project in my like studying. I think it was like the 4th semester. We were like 7 people. And yeah, I was the lead programmer, and yeah, I developed like the main code architecture and like talked to the team with everything to develop. Okay, right now I'm like developing for Virtual X. They're also based in Hamburg. And yeah, right there, I'm a Unity VR developer, and I completed my bachelor thesis in media informatics. All right, what are the topics? Let me start with the like the basic topics the software is implementing. Then we go through the different features of the software. Then I'm gonna show you quick sprints, and in the end, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the time management. Let's start with the three main topics. It is eye anatomy, the disease simulation, and the environment. And the environment has a little extra stuff in it where you can also learn about eating healthy and explore like different disease simulations in specialized environments. I'm going to show that more later. Let's see the disease vision first. All right, so this is like a different way to see your dioptries. So when you have a short vision, which happens to every good developer, I think, then this is really similar to you. The other stuff is gray star, I think it's in English. And we also had like tunnel vision. So these are all three diseases which you can simulate in the software itself. And it feels realistic. The next big feature is prevention. So let me show you. We put little objects there with little tips. So smoking is like bad for your eyes. Drinking is good. You get the idea. And the next one is, yeah, still the environment. Okay. This one is the main room, where you can also learn like advanced stuff about your eye. So night vision, basically. This one is the tutorial, where you can like learn about the basics, how to go to different rooms, and how to use your vision simulation. And this one was a main room, I think. So this one is really showing a lot of different parts of your eye, which you can all like separate. And we also have like scientifically like slides for learning extended stuff about it. And the last room was the scaling room, where you can like be a big giraffe or be a little fox and just get a feeling for their perspectives. So this one was really just a bonus, just extra. All right. Yeah. And the last one is the tutorial. And this is the main room where we started, which shows you a little demo video of everything and gives you like a good introduction to everything. Okay, this one, as I said, main room. And here we can see you can really explore the different parts of an eye and get a feeling about how they could work together. We also have different views of it, so you can press different buttons and have different visions of the eye anatomy. scale it, also move it as you want, just by drag and dropping. And last one, as I said, the tutorial, where you can read the basics, teleport, and really start off the application with a good knowledge. All right. And for the last part is the time management. So this one is shows you how much time we spent on the whole project, and a lot of it went to meetings and consultation, presentations. You have to keep in mind that this is also like for presenting to the professors at the university. So it should be lower in your typical project. But we spend like a good amount of time for the environment, and for the controls, you also have to take your time. That's it, basically. Thank you very much. And now I'm open for questions. Maybe the other presenters have questions. If not, you can check out my links, some games, and my GitHub. That's it. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Manuel. It's quite an interesting project. Which year did you work on this? You just basically recently graduated.
Yeah, I think it was the fourth semester.
Yeah. All right. And all right. Yeah, that's where the regular talks that we were planning for this session. And
yeah, now we have some community time.
Right. Before we go to the networking part, we would like to see if the audience has some questions and to our presentation. And I will just switch on all the presenters. And
I think there was the idea to have Alexander give it another try.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Yes, Alexander has a new PC now, so that should really solve all the problems. So
let's see. Can you hear me now? So, because we couldn't test now. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. So then please maybe return to the slide, and then I'll do my little talk. So first of all, apologies for the problems. I just re-listened the live stream. It was really bad. Sorry. Yeah, so I got simple headphones, which might be working better. So as I said, I wanted to give you a little overview about the German VR scene in Berlin, the capital of Germany. So we have quite a diverse group, like many different meetups. VR Berlin, which I represent here, is the biggest one, pretty old, from June 2013. We are have organized about 50 events already. And we have also quite an interesting local scene regarding startups like Realities here or Into VR. Realities, you might remember, are the ones with the photogrammetry stuff. We have also a lot of universities in Berlin that are actually doing education in the field of XR. So from game designers, 3D artists, and of course specialists for immersive experiences. We actually hosted there. So we have a direct connection to the universities. Also a lot of indie developers, and regarding scientific things, we have Fraunhofer in Berlin, which have also their lab here. And and basically quite an interesting scene. Also Potsdam with Studio Babelsberg is not far away. Whereas actually one of the few holographic studios, like holographic video recording, also very interesting. And VR Business Club and a lot of other things are happening here. Also quite some arcades like Exit VR are here in Berlin. We consider ourselves as a meetup that covers basically all different topics regarding XR, and we are basically routing you then to the specialized meetups, like one is for audio and one is for storytelling and so on and so on. So you can get an overview and get the whole scene when you come to our events, and then you can find out what you think is interesting for you, and then we'll guide you to the right people that are also sharing your interest. And of course, we enjoy up to 200 people when we actually meet in real life, which is not possible right now, which is very sad. But yeah, we are doing, that's one of the reasons why we are joining also Virtual Germany. Yeah, thank you. That was my small talk. You see the link down below. If you want to know more what's happening, and if you're interested in a talk, joining a talk, or even giving a talk, then just get in contact to us. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Alexander. Much cleaner now with the audio.
Yeah,
okay.
And thank you for giving me a second try. So.
Yeah. All right. It's yeah, we have to say it was like a bit spontaneous, like preparing all these presentations, and we didn't really have much time to check the audio and everything. And yeah, I will just invite all the speakers to come back into the stream. And so as I said, we didn't have much time to prepare everything, but we still hope that you can get a good impression of like what is going on in Germany. And we would love to hear also some comments from the community. And in fact, we will actually, after this session is over, we will join in Allspace VR to talk to some people that are interested in talking to us directly, or just network a bit. But before we do that, we still have like 10 minutes at least to conclude sort of our overview of the German VR communities. And basically, we would like to discuss a bit our experiences and like opinions on like where the German VR community is going. And I would basically ask all the presenters their opinion on sort of the state of the German VR community right now, and what are like good developments, or what are things that are not going so good. Just share your thoughts. Basically, we can start from alphabetically, maybe. So with Alexander, if you share your thought.
Well, I would say it's a little bit of consolidation happening. There was back in 2014 to 2016, I think there was a kind of a hype, where a lot of new meetups popped up and had 3-4 events. And then they basically said, okay, this seems to be too much work, or the hype slowed down again. And basically, you see now that basically only the meetups that are well run remain, and the others simply don't exist anymore. So that's kind of consolidation that happened, and I think it's also kind of the crazy old days are a little bit gone. It's a little bit more commercialized, more the early days, like fun exploring, is a little bit less, I would say. We try to keep the spirit up, but it's I think it's, especially in augmented reality, I see it's much more commercialized. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed the same thing. It really goes up with the hype, and every time that new hardware is released, that's also a thing where they where it was an incentive to create events. Yeah.
And
Right.
don't get me wrong, there's still interest in new things, but you know, the times where people just did crazy experiments is a little bit gone because, well, yeah, you cannot sell experiments or tech demos. Yeah, it's, you can sell high level experiences. So that's a thing. But I really like the, you know, I'm coming from the demo scene. I really like the spirit of experimenting.
Right. And so I don't know. I think we can also have an opinion from Manuel. I did a bad job as moderator. I didn't really introduce who the people are here. Actually, usually you have to tell a bit about the background, because actually the surname is not a coincidence. Manuel is my brother. I invited him to share a bit of his work as a extra sort of community contribution here. But he's actually also active in participating in VR meetups, and maybe you can share your experience not as an organizer but as a participant.
Yes, I mean, I basically got my job as a VR developer from this VR meetup group, VR Frankfurt. So I'm really grateful, and I think through my job I have like a sense what is happening in the VR space. And if you look at the facts, 25% of all Steam users actually have a VR headset, and the mobile VR headsets are getting more and more popular. So I'm working actually with a Oculus Quest 2. So I am feeling an interest. Maybe the cable management and stuff is too inconvenient, and we tend more to this direction. But I have a good feeling about the VR space right now. I also think Alux, the game, also did a great job in introducing VR to more people.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's getting more mainstream with the games, especially. All right, and so Farina Hamann, you really more engaged in a professional way with the even the association. What is your opinion on the VR space?
So personally, meetups and networking events got really, really important for me. Because when I started developing own projects and started with VR, I went to my first meetups in 2015 or 16, and I noticed that it was really, really motivational for me to see other people working in this area, and I felt like there was a really friendly atmosphere. So there were no, it was really, really welcoming. Like, oh great, you're also working with VR. We're not so many people, so it's great that you are here, and that was really nice. So for me, it is, that's my personal reason why I'm so much into organizing events by myself. Also in Bremen, there was no community when I moved here, so I started or tried to start a community. The bad thing is that we were just kicking off when the virus came and the pandemic. So we had our first or the two first meetups, but then we tried to continue digitally, which didn't really work out that well because people didn't know each other yet. So that's a bit difficult. Same for the community in Hamburg. Or not the same, but in Hamburg it worked way better to move to VR because people already know each other, and now and most of them already have an VR headset at home. So this was an interesting experience that the virtual world helps us here and helps us to connect. Yeah.
It's interesting.
So,
I didn't expect that it would hurt that like when the meetup is not established enough. But yeah, it's true. Like it's hard to make new friends if you only see like the digital faces and like you
yeah,
can't
some
really
people,
connect.
yeah. I know some people only from their avatars. It will be interesting to meet them in real life someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fun fact of today. We see each other the first time
True.
in video stream. That's a fun fact. I really like it.
That's true. We only knew the voices and the avatars.
Yeah, and who's talking about what with what focus. We really talked a lot together, but that's the first time we're doing video calls. And so now, Robin, we met earlier days. So so an interesting question would be who's coming to our meetups. We had this small survey on both events we already had, and it was interesting. We asked for I can't remember exactly, so maybe somebody may help me, but it was interesting that people were doing it professionally and private. I think the participants were not just from a private background. Was it true? I think that I remember that. So this
a few, but yeah.
So and basically all VR, all XR in privately and professionally. So.
Yeah. And I think we should value the meetups we do quite more. We love to do it, but I think this is something the communication and the is something, and the social perspective to feel other people are there. This was in the physical meetings. The fact that was very important because maybe digital people are not that networking all the time, maybe, but this was something that I think it was interesting or it is important, and we continue with this with the virtual one, and we are such a good group working together, and it's possible, and that's my experience, and probably all of you too, that it's really possible to work virtually. It doesn't have to be in VR and 3D, but if you can really build a community virtually. So this is my experience. Another interesting question might be, how is it going on? So for the individual meetups, hopefully we do have the possibility to meet physically again in reality. But what would be other than before, after the experience of the pandemic, but of the experience of having Zoom and all this stuff and our virtual meetups? What would be different? I'm not sure. Would it be easier to meet in physical environments, or do we have to develop the hybrid events where people are taking or joining remotely, virtually, and physically?
Can I add something to this? Because we noticed in Hamburg that to our regulars table, when we do it digitally, there are a lot of people coming from all over Germany. So it's not limited to Hamburg. People just noticed, oh, there's a German event on Allspace. I just join. And that's why I think we definitely have to continue at some part digitally or virtually. Because otherwise we totally lose the contact to the people who are not based in Hamburg or in the area.
I think that we'll have probably some kind of hybrid events. We were already experimenting with this before the pandemic. So like having a kind of portal into the real world in VR and into VR from the real world. So both that you can get through connected or communicate both ways. Yeah. So and I can think about things like, you made, Samsung Neons and such things, which gives you the possibility to have actually a life-size representation in the room, in the physical room. Yeah, without, let's say, 3D, immersive, whatever tech, but just a big screen. Yeah, so I can just see that this is merging in the long run. So you basically can attend also virtually. And I guess, but that's, I think, still a few years off. I guess that after the pandemic and we are back to so the whatever normal that we will have then, I think that it will be a big it's nice to meet you again. You know, some people get relieved. I don't know what's with you guys, but I sit about 8 hours in conference calls a day, and this Zoom fatigue is real. so. And I really look forward to meet people physically anymore, especially with XR, because, one big part was always demos. Yeah, demos of new headsets, new technologies, tracking, whatever. And this is not really possible right now. And I think that was always fun to really try out the latest and greatest and talk about it and have fun together. And that's really what I'm missing right now.
Yeah, that's why I enjoyed it so much to be at the Places Festival this year. It was limited, of course, and there were not so many people as there were 2 years ago. But after half a year of not seeing anyone, it was really nice to see at least some people. And yeah, I really missed the people from the XR scene.
Can you add some how was it organized, the Places Festival?
So most of it happened outside. There were some live streams. There was a stage, but it was outside, and there was a really limited capacity of visitors who could be in front of the stage. And there were some seats with a lot of distance and so on. And most of the talks, or half of the talks, happened in a studio where only one speaker at one time was speaking, and it was experienceable through live streams and monitors outside. There was also the festival center outside where masks were mandatory, and only I think when you were sitting, it was possible to put the mask off like it was in restaurants, because it was in summer and things were more relaxed in summer than they are now. So it seems weird on the looking back. And there were also experiences you could try and demos, but there were limited capacities of people who could go there at the same time. And then the headsets and the controllers and everything was disinfected the whole time. Masks were mandatory. They also had these
clean boxes, right?
Yeah, the clean boxes, exactly, with the ultraviolet light, and so it was really carefully organized. I felt safe. I think it was possible because most of it happened outside.
I don't know. I would have more questions to ask, but Robin probably has something prepared. I don't know.
We can talk about that later.
It's interesting, like just the situation with COVID and how we all try to still keep going on, right? With the goals don't really change because of that.
I have a response to Alexander because sorry, Robin, but he was talking about or requesting how many people, the small meetups, they struggle. That's the same with ours in Thuringia, which is not that dense of business and people like Berlin, obviously. I think another trend is the diversification. I don't know if this is so, because the topic is going on, the development is going on, people are more interested in VR in medicine or AR for commerce or whatever. And there are events like our immersive learning stuff. We have the conferences, we have the meetups. And so probably this is a phenomena from this diversification, maybe. I
would call it specialization also. Like, you have so many different areas where this XR technologies can be applied, and it's separating a little bit into this various interest groups, which I think is very important, that you still have some generic, overall things in order to give, to not just stay in your little bubble. So, and give also orientation, especially for newbies, because they don't know the various, how broad this already is. So.
Martin,
in Hamburg, the events were from the beginning really specialized. Like there was one meetup especially for 3D audio, and that went really deep into spatial audio, for example. And I really enjoyed that because you could learn something new, and it was not general about XR every time.
I'm also really wondering why there's so little press coverage of the meetup scene. Because it would be very easy for journalists maybe to join and see really great talks and really interesting people. Like we had the super hot guys here and in Berlin. And I mean, you have to experience this. The lead developer of Superhot is really crazy guy. Yeah. So it's really interesting people, because VR and XR in general is also a very diverse field of knowledge. Everything needs to come together. You recreate reality. That means every skill is welcome. Every skill is needed, and that's something which I like about it very much, because it's basically what I am. I'm a generalist, and I think XR is for generalists, because you can do everything there basically, because you're actually creating realities. So that's why I see there's no let's say there's no background that is not helpful, because every expertise is needed in order to create the things.
And it reaches out into all the different industries. It's really true. I think Rolf had a question to Martin or something.
Yeah, I wonder how. How close are you to the expanded realities curriculum study?
Well, it depends on. I'm the engineer for the study program, and I participate in the different semester projects. So we have 2 semesters. So the first semester just started, and we have a third semester because the study program is relatively new. And in the third semester, we now do virtual showrooms. So actually what conferences are happening. So how do you exhibit your products or projects? And for them, it's to discover space, basically in VR. That's the first time they really work with a VR headset. And and then we pick a topic, and now last year it was learning, and this year it's more about the exhibition space. And I think what is going to be super interesting is hopefully when they come back in spring and we can actually meet, because if they send now their experiences in their projects, same as in the meetups, it's so much different if you try something and then you can directly talk to the people and figure out what is going, how do you do that, and you can really see how they interact. And learn about all your mistakes that you did in your creation of your space, and figure out, oh, that's what people do, and that's how they break it. That's also what's happening at the meetups. And that is something that is missing at the moment, because of course I can have a conference and then try to send it over to you, and you put your headset on and you try it, but then I can't really see what you do. So these are things that that are part of the meetup that make it great. So you had that earlier. So the demos are the super interesting parts, and of course the talks. But also what happened to me a couple of times was that I wasn't able to go there physically because it was short on time, or the train was already leaving, and then I just joined virtually, and that was also great because I knew the people there, and then it was more like, oh yeah, I know this person, and then you have a different feeling of presence also. I met with a friend who studied here for an hour in VR and just avatars, but the feeling afterwards was like, hey, I met him. I sat with him on a sofa and we just talked and had a shared screen. There was the TV on the wall, And we tested also the space and had 3D software open and did some modeling. And this is stuff that will happen also in VR, but there's also still if you have the people right there physically, it's a difference there. So, yeah.
But that actually brings me to a question for Martin and Rolf, because there are already some software that enables you to really build experiences inside VR together. And I'm not talking about the very limited capabilities like Altspace, but really engines, like Neos and other things that gives you really the power to create. Is that something that you could use in your for education for your students? Because that would really, would be in the same room virtually, and you would create, because it's basically something like Unity, but all in VR, which Unity sadly never delivered. So,
yeah, I was thinking of two things: the Unity VR editor, so the VR part or the VR version of the UI of the 2D UI. Never happened until now. You probably remember the Unreal building, 3D building thing, and
which was better.
So this would be something very natural to really build something in VR and in one-to-one space. Actually, I had one of my first teaching experience was at the University of Martin. 13 years ago, and I had the Second Life course for 3 semesters, and it was I think 30% in real presence physically in the work, and 70% for about being in Second Life. And we built things. They had to program with this creepy language, second whatever, I can't remember.
And this unstable client.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, we tried to attach VR goggles. Those I can't remember. Imagine OLED displays. So cool times. But this was the most intense, or one of the most intense teaching experience I had. I knew the people from physics, so there was a relation and something to. And but the students itself felt, I think, more free in the virtual space. Yeah, in reality, we do really have problems in teaching, or the students have problem with learning, whatever, which side you look from, because they're not sure. Should I show my weaknesses to somebody that gives a grade at the end? So this is a general problem of the type of teaching we're doing. And the virtual gives you so much. I got the clothing selected by the students, so I had a muscle shirt on it virtually and things like that. And and we had a really international exchange. We went to the University of Los Angeles, just went by and looked what they did and invited them to our place. The students produced experience about topics they had in their other courses. So it was about 3-point lighting, something like that. We built a science center and put all those exhibits into the science center. So that is something that I would like to have again. Neos might be something that is possible to build it inside. I don't know. I'm looking for it. So, and I can't build it on my own. We are having some hopes on hubs because it's open source, but not sure. But I think you could really improve teaching on that. Sorry for the long answer.
Yeah, we're also actively looking at that and exploring different tools and trying and seeing what's there. But since the students are in a relatively low semester, it's not there yet. And also then you have to have, everyone has to have the equipment. And that's also sometimes a challenge. So we're not there yet.
Yeah, but Second Life was just 3D without VR goggles. So, and it was a nice experience. It's probably not the thing we really want to have at the end, but we should start with 3D and see where we can get. And if those environments are compatible to VR goggles, like WebXR stuff, it might be a way. Let's collaborate.
Yeah, interesting.
And I think it's also opportunity to. I really like this education, masterclass. You might know that website where you can learn composing from Hans Zimmer and something the best of the best. And I guess now have the best 3D artist working directly in front of you, and you just look over the shoulder. And because it's all virtual, okay, you still have the time zone issue somehow, but basically, you can join. People can join all over the world and learn from that artist directly, right? So that's something it's not there yet. I'm not aware of that. Something like masterclass is happening in XR already, but I also see that coming. Because it's some kind of logical. Why should you go not for the best educator possible? So if you can have many people joining without effort, I mean, like cost or distance problem.
I tried to get around to the original topic, virtual Germany and meetups. And so one thought might be we're talking about education and universities. And so I didn't manage, but I really will give it another try to cooperate more deeply with other universities. Why not? So, and I know that a lot of our students, we have a complete digital semester, more or less from computer science faculty. I think there are 1 or 2 courses physically at the university, but the rest is digital or online. And so the students are working from places near the university or far away, being at their parents or whatever. And so the opportunity to give courses really shared between different universities. I'm not sure if universities are prepared or open for something like that, to really collaboration. But we have the network of the I mentioned it, the German Informatics Society, and there's a working group not focused on immersive learning, but in general on XR. So this would be the group I will give it a try to really make courses together.
Interesting. Yeah.
Also, I joined a bunch of sessions over the summer because lots of people went into VR and tried things. So I participated in a history class experiment in Engage that came from the UK, and it was a 2-hour session on the Normandy landing. And it was really like they were also testing what can you do in terms of photogrammetry, what can you do in terms of animated models, can you talk about this, how can you show the students then the place and what happened and show the history. And so I went to lots of these events and spoke with other educators that were trying like, okay, how can we do this? What would we need in terms of hardware? How do we tell a story differently? If we could actually go to these physical places, what do we do in terms of digitizing them first? And I think that's also something that we try with the meetup. So we're not only meeting in the local communities, but now we're meeting for the 3rd time now all over Germany, in the virtual Germany meetup now in December, the 3rd time, which is also a way of like, how can you meet other people? And then, of course, there's a couple of talks there, but then it's also about the networking. And you saw that earlier with the moon landing or spacesuits outside in the moon space, where you would meet people and then actually meet new people that you would never meet, because I wouldn't probably go to a Berlin meetup because it's way too far away. But through virtually, that's possible. And I think that makes it also super interesting and super great. So we have these local communities, but then we have this, let's say, I don't know, not global, but over Germany, and now also here in the whole global space. So that's super interesting.
Yeah, and I would also add that actually because of COVID, a lot of, let's say, usually paid events and, behind paywalls hidden is possible to attend now basically for free or for very few money. And you can have access to much more than before, because especially if you are not on a small budget like a student. So you can, if you have time, which you have usually still as a student, then because you have no kids yet and all the responsibilities that come with that, use your time, because right now you can get access to a lot of stuff to learn this basically for free. Which was different before COVID. So because right now you can basically attend all the events for free, more or less.
Yeah, and it's not only for free, but also suddenly possible because you don't have to travel. Like I visited the Laval Virtual for the first time. I thought about going there, but it was too far away just for an event, and yeah.
But the problem, or the good thing, is that Robin, who is, as I know, not really near Germany, can really share and guide the whole thing and organize this thing. But I don't know how you're managing things, but I have too many windows open at the moment or in the last month. So the possibility is a challenge or a problem. I'm really taking part in so many really interesting things and connecting to people. So I have to reduce the thing to really get down to something and refocus. So this is my challenge, because the possibilities are there and I'm interested and people are cool and all those things. So for me, this is a challenge, and not having enough of physical action. So this is the other problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how do you deal with the COVID situation, but back in March, when there was a real strong lockdown, I mean, in Germany we really never had a real lockdown, but it was more stronger than now. Well, I used to go into things like Google Earth in VR and such things. Like, yeah, you could visit places. I really do that as a kind of hobby, because I have a book like the 1,000 things of United Nations. What is it called? World Heritage, right? Things like or natural wonders or whatever that's called. And this is a big book, and I'm just doing my list and visiting all this stuff. So
what number you are currently?
300 something. So, and basically you can, whether it be nature stuff like or like national parks and such things, and architecture, everything. Like if you go to Hong Kong, for example, it's very, very interesting to see that in Google Earth VR. Very, very interesting city. And I mean, we cannot travel right now, but we can travel virtually, and I'm doing this a lot.
Yeah, my sister's traveling for a couple of years now, and when she visited us in Germany, we went to an VR arcade, and then she entered Google Earth and showed us where she went and all the places, and like the sunset or sunrise on a high mountain and so on. That was really interesting because it was another way of showing photos, but yeah, she showed us actually the places.
Yeah, I think that's...
So we have 90 minutes almost.
I think we don't want to go too much overtime, although we are allowed to have 2 hours blocks. But we actually wanted to also save some time for networking. I just wanted to comment that I also experienced a lot of this, what you talked about, and like even companies really try to salvage the situation that everyone has to go online. Like there were Microsoft events where they really focus, like even the trying to get the more support for the people in conferences, and because it's all virtual, right? Virtual is not like the add-on, is like this is all you get. So but let's see how it will go on now, and I think we can like have a sort of final thought of now how. What are things that you hope for that will develop in the next year, or like with new hardware and with the situation after COVID? What are you looking forward to or hoping for? And we can get a sort of final thought from every presenter. So Alex, you can go first.
So not much time to think.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm thinking about actually not waiting for the end of COVID, but really try to see. I mean, when the situation at least is a little bit better right now, that we'll really start to do some physical stuff again, maybe with this clean boxes or any other or principles like. Not sharing a headset, but having multiple experience in the same headset, so you can actually manage to do that. I'm also thinking about virtual demos, which is maybe too complicated to explain now, but I have ideas to actually demo even devices in VR. So. But that's another topic. So I'm really looking forward in 2021 that when the situation is a little bit better, we can get to more the usual way also. And I also see that things like NEOS go into the direction that things can actually build things together and get this much better things like that we can be creative together also. Yeah? So that's something, that's my hope, that it will go into this direction. And also that maybe, the deal with the devil, like Facebook account needs and things, we get to manage this somehow. So, yeah. So, because basically it seems like people don't care about privacy. So anyway,
Yeah.
As long as it's cheap, nobody cares. So that was the same with the smartphone, and it's now with Oculus Quest 2. So
I don't know what to say there, but I still hope that Quest will not be the only option. So eventually,
let's see.
How
yeah, okay. Eventually, that's easy to as a prognosis. So,
right.
okay, yeah. So let's move on. It was just some final thoughts.
Yeah. And Manuel, what are your what are you looking forward to for VR in the next year?
Well, I see a lot of new opportunities popping up, like virtual events and meetings and conventions, which like get experience in a whole different way. So I think that's there are a lot of possibilities out there, and if you are like open-minded and look for new opportunities, then this whole Corona thing isn't that bad.
Yeah, it helped to at least make people more aware that like you can meet in VR now. Well, and Farina, what is your thought on this?
So I'm looking really forward to devices to be on one hand cheaper, but on the other hand also more accessible, because I prefer meeting people in VR space and an avatar than having a video conference, because you can have bigger events where you can decide who you are going to talk to, or you just move around and then overhear an interesting conversation there and join in. And that's not possible with video conferences right now. So I'm looking forward that more people could have an own VR headset. And despite being Facebook, I think the Quest went into a good direction because it's so easy to go into VR, because you don't have to start a computer, you don't have to set up external tracking and so on. So I think devices will be interesting. Not that interesting anymore because they are all going into the same direction, but they will enable a more easy and cheaper access to VR.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the typical hardware development. It's gonna get better, cheaper, and faster after that. Let's
And
see.
now in VR, that's not really, there's no more that interesting or special things that could be developed. Maybe face tracking, I'm not sure. And yeah, will be more interesting in the future, but yeah.
Pretty old.
That's right. Yeah, all the new features. I'm also looking forward to that. Definitely. Right. So, Rolf, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, something new that's not has been said. I have something that's not really the answer to that, but what if I look not at the next year, but in talking about Facebook, who saw the Facebook Connect keynote from Michael Brush, saw all those visions on, I call it AR cloud. I'm not sure, spatial computing stuff. So I'm interested in that and associated with the OpenAR Cloud Association. I'm a member of it, and we're talking about privacy. There will be a lot of activities in having digital media placed in the world, visible at first through smartphones, which is not the really good solutions, but there is a perspective on AR smart glasses or whatever. Not sure if this will work out at the end, but I'm looking forward to this, but I'm still at the same time really afraid that those big companies that are doing and developing this stuff at the moment, and maybe some more big companies from almost the same our community, I don't know, that they will take all. So they have the chance with the technology really dominate things and contents, and that's the part I'm afraid of. So talking about new platforms, what is after the smartphone, and this may be a spatial computing device. So it's something that relates to our field today, and so that's what I'm following deeply. So it might be correlated with something like smart city, where the idea is that we have a digital twin of the city, so to manage things more efficiently, which is something interesting. But I'm not sure what happens to people, how they can share and use for good the whole technology. A kind of unspecific answer, but that's something I'm thinking of and looking for.
Yeah, it's still an important thought. Yeah. All right. So the last but not least, Martin.
I had now enough time to think about it. No, I'm following my the other speakers here, and what I'm also interested in is the collaborative nature. So if more headsets and more devices are out there, more people can really use them and can collaborate. And then I'm really interested in what people make of it, like not only consume, but really the makers, and things get more accessible. We see that with all the different tools that are out there, and then what they create, how they what they envision, and how they put that out there. And then I want to explore that, and that's going to be interesting. And here, as I'm working a lot with students, I'm interested in what is their view on that future, and how do they deal with the technology in all the different forms, and where do they want to apply that. So that's going to be super interesting, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And then we have all these other issues around that we're dealing with and figuring out how we can solve them. And so so I'm looking forward to the next months and years, and what the development will be.
All right. Yeah. Very interesting thoughts. And let's see. Do we have any final question from the community? So far, I
Let's have a beer in all space.
Right, exactly.
That's what we are looking forward to. Drinks in social VR.
And
the
that's
thing.
right. I was about to share the last slide there. So as to wrap things up, and since we are still all together, we decided to join into the Allspace networking area and try to get to know the audience and talk to you in person and hear your thoughts and have some interesting discussions, hopefully. So let's see, should I end the stream or just show the no, yeah, I can't really do that because I wanted to join in with the infamous Facebook headset. I think I will end the stream, and we will just do networking, so just discussion in old space.
Maybe you can put in the link. Can you put in the
oh yes,
link?
good idea. That's a nice thing. So everyone watching can now join into this event.
I also have the link.
Space.
And you don't need a VR headset. You can just download, install the software, and use your desktop as well or your laptop to enter this world.
Right.
Yes.
And the German booth is actually outside of the building, so you will spawn, I think, in this bar area, and then you just turn around to the door, and then to the left, should be our space, and hope to see you there.
Yep.
Okay, thanks for.
All right. See you in Avatars.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
It was fun.
Thanks to the speakers. Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye.